Hi guys, welcome to Dev. Today we are looking into a sneaky JavaScript beginner mistake that has to do with addition. Let's dive into see what I'm talking about. Alright, look at my script. I have an event listener that is listening on the click of a button. And then as soon as the button is clicked, we are expecting that we get an initial value of 50, add the values of the input elements of num1 and num2 to the value of 50. So if you look at it, we say if A has a value and B has a value, then we should add the value of A and the value of B to initial, which is 50. That's straightforward. So we expect that as soon as I add 2 and 5 to 50, that I should get what? Look at what I got. 5,025. What happened here? I'm supposed to get 57, but I have 5,025. So now let's do some console work here. Console.log 2 plus 2. I get 4. So what's going on? If JavaScript knows that 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, what happened? Why did I get 5,025? Okay, let's do something else. Two plus 2 string is 22. When you are adding strings, JavaScript concatenate them. We know that. Okay. So log 2. What did you see? 2 plus string 2 is 22. Then let's come back again and 2 plus 2 gives us this 22. Console.log 2 plus string 2 still gives us 22. So whether the string is in front or at the back, as soon as a string is introduced into addition, JavaScript takes the other parts as a string and concatenates. So for us to fix that problem, we need to do conversion, like the best practice, because many times we don't want to assume that the user is going to be sending us numbers when in fact they give us a string. So for us to fix that kind of mistake, when we get the value, we tell JavaScript to make this a number. So let's do this and say plus number 2. Let's see it. We made it number so that as soon as we enter, we get 4. So when you are collecting input from users, when you are not the one writing out the value, it is safer to get the expected value and convert them to numbers so that you know that what you are actually adding is a number, because JavaScript, as soon as it sees a string, does concatenation, not addition. We can also use pass int. So I come and say console.log pass int. We take in the strings 2 and we add it to the number that we are sure of, and we still get our 4. So now coming back to the first issue that we had before we started working our console, we want to fix the problem so that when we get values from users, we need to, whether we are sure of them entering strings or not, we want to convert them to be sure that whatever the user sends, what we have will be numbers. So let's work with fixing that. So we come here and use number around the value. So whatever the value the user sends, we want to use it, use number. And we also come here and do the same thing. So that when we want to add 50 to 2 and 7, 2 and 5, we get 57 and not thousands of numbers. So now that we have added number in terms of converting the values that the user entered, let's see what we get. Let me add 3 and 7 to 50. I expect to see 60. Oh God, we found 60. So, beginners and many of us that are forgetting that JavaScript concatenates, when we get values from users, let's convert them using number, and we can also use %, just to be safe in case the user is entering string instead of numbers. Also, our input value here is text. We can just use the HTML validation called number, so that whatever the user enters will always be number. With this validation, the user will not enter R instead of entering 2. I am pressing R and nothing shows up. But as soon as I press a number, the number shows up because I have used an HTML validation to ensure that the only thing the user can enter in the tab is a number. Unlike when what I had there was an input type of text. With an input type of text, I can enter numbers or letters. So if we are trying to get the data from an input field, we should make the input field type of numbers so that HTML validates and ensure that the user does not enter something else other than numbers. But if what we are getting does not come from an input element, maybe there are other sources, then using our conversion of number or %int saves us from concatenating instead of adding. So if you have any question concerning your beginner mistakes or any mistakes whatsoever, drop your question in the comment section below. Let's figure this out together. And as usual, let's laugh about whatever bugs is giving you a hard time and making you spend so long in front of your PC. Let's talk about it. If you want to see more of this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Looking forward to see you next time. Bye-bye.